Hello VC, Hedley here, another fat bearded man talking about records. I've been watching Big Star 1000, Fred's Gimme 10 videos, been really enjoying them, and I thought I would do one myself. But I thought I'd wait until 1973, which I believe, and if you would disagree with me, I will come and find you and then run away. But 1973, I think, is the best year for music. Pointy. But the problem I have is my collection of music from 1973 is kind of split between records, CDs, tapes and downloads. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to show a download. Here's an MP3. So I thought about it. I thought, well, I don't really like the idea. It's great showing records. This is the vinyl community, so I thought I'd stick to vinyl. Now, I've got a name for doing country music, so I thought what I would do is a little bit of a twist. I would do Gimme 10, 1973, the country edition. Okay? Well, I'm going to do it anyway. So, just to start, a couple of records that are bubbling under that I didn't have space for, as per usual, and an opportunity to shove them in there anyway, so it should be 13. Right. Charlie Rich, no space for him. Marshall Tucker Band, nah, no space for them. The Soundtrack to the Deliverance, an album that did as much good and bad for bluegrass music as any other album, but no space for that. So, on to the top 10. First of all, from a bit of bluegrass to more bit of bluegrass, this is Bean Blossom, and this is a live recording from Bill Monroe's Bluegrass Festival, which is called Bean Blossom, which takes place in Bean Blossom, Indiana, not Kentucky, surprisingly. The reason why this is such a good album is not only the playing outstanding, it sounds impeccable. It's got all kinds of people on here performing. We've got Bill Monroe, Jim and Jesse and the Virginia Boys, Jimmy Martin, Lester Flatt. It's the kind of who's who of the bluegrass world. The audience really make this record. They sound like they're having a ball. It sounds absolutely one of those sort of gigs you listen to it and wish you were there. So anyway, there you are. First one, Bean Blossom. Second one, Asleep at the Wheel, coming right at ya. This is the first album by Asleep at the Wheel. They were, still are actually, sorry, a retro western swing outfit. So on this album, there are recordings of traditional songs that Bill Monroe would do, but they wrote some of their own. It's great to see a new era embracing that western swing genre. It sounds great. It's really fun. It's just a top album. Clearly, we couldn't do this without Parsons GP. His first solo album, although probably not as good as his second album, Grievous Angel, this still is an absolutely essential album, and I'm surprised I haven't seen this yet actually in some of the people's Gimme Tens. Tracks like She, a great reading of Streets of Baltimore, Big Mouth Blues, and again it's got Emmylou Harris. It's kind of one of the first sort of recordings after her first solo album that she did, and of course would forever be linked to Gram Parsons. It's a great sounding album. It was going to be produced by Merle Haggard. I'm kind of pleased it wasn't, because it probably wouldn't be like this. It'd be different, but there you are, Gram Parsons GP, a smashing album. Next one, Jerry Reed, Hot and Mighty. Jerry Reed, for some people, might be best known as being the Bandit's mate in the Smokey and the Bandit films. He was also in Gator, I think. He was good friends with Burt Reynolds. But he was a great guitar picker. In fact, he was nicknamed the Claw because of his kind of claw style playing he would do. There you are. I'm imagining it. I imagine it's kind of like that. This is an album that's great. It's lots of hot picking, and even the slower kind of more sentimental songs are really good. He started in the 50s, and he's probably most famous for Guitar Man, which Elvis Presley covered. But this is a really great album, and probably Jerry Reed's best album, although it doesn't have Eastbound and Down on it, which would make it probably, the top album of the year. So anyway, yeah, a great album, great sounding, guitar picking, acoustic guitar picking, produced by Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed. It's a great album. If you ever see it, pick it up. Then we've got Michael Nesmith, pretty much a standard ranch stash. I think this is his third or fourth album he produced after the Monkees kind of disintegrated. It's a smashing album. I like the bit. I don't know if you can see it where it is. Can I get that in? No, it's not going to. It says, "Buy this record." I really like that. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's a smashing album. Really nice little gatefold as well. Great picture in there as well. The first side, it's kind of country rock, but he did a kind of twist on it. Kind of a poppy country. Some of his stuff becomes a bit almost psychedelic as well, but not particularly this album. The first side is all songs by him. Probably the best, some of Shelley's blues. I think other people have covered that. The second side is cover versions. We get Uncle Pen, the FFV, Born to Love You, Prairie Lullaby. A lovely, lovely album, really nice. One to tap your feet to. I like what it's got inside as well. It's got written in here, after 2 or 3 months, this album may lose potency, although some aroma may linger. I'll tell you what, that aroma has lingered since 1973. Nice album. Pretty much a standard ranch stash. I've already shown this in one of my other videos, and I don't care, I'm showing it again. This is one of my all-time favourite albums, Honky Tonk Heroes, Waylon Jennings. It's mostly cover versions of songs by, oh gosh, what's his name? Let me see if I've written on here. Oh, no. Time to forget these things. Billy Joe Shaver. Which is interesting because Billy Joe Shaver's album was out with many of these songs in the same year. I haven't got that. It's very, very expensive to get hold of. There it is. Oh, that's actually his obituary there I've got shoved in there. Honky Tonk Heroes, Old Five and Dimers Like Me, Willie the Wandering Gypsy and Me, Ride Me Down Easy, Ain't No God in Mexico, Black Rose, all amazing stuff. This is Waylon taking control of the recording and just producing what he wanted to produce with his touring band. An outstanding album, a great, it's rocky, it's country, it's brilliant. Honky Tonk Heroes. Far more traditional, George Jones. Nothing ever hurt me half as bad as losing you. That's almost the quintessential sort of country music song, isn't it? This is the second album he recorded with Billy Sherrill. Billy Sherrill, famous for co-writing Stand By Your Man for Tammy Wynette. Wynette. And Billy Sherrill was kind of half influenced by Chet Atkins and the stuff he was doing, and the kind of wall of sound recording as well. And you can hear that in this. Now, any lesser artist than George Jones, some of these might be a bit mawkish and sentimental, but the minute you hear that voice, and I swear, George Jones has one of the top 5 voices ever in recorded history. I make these statements. I have nothing to back them up, apart from the albums. It's great. Songs that you think they're going to be sentimental and you're not going to really take them, but you listen to him and then you suddenly realise you've got a tear rolling down your cheek. That's the sort of thing. Some great songs on here. Really nice album. So Nothing Ever Hurt Me Half As Bad As Losing You. It's that kind of the top of the countrypolitan Nashville sound. Almost like a country wall of sound. Brilliant. A very strange album now. This is Johnny Cash, The Gospel Road. This was an album to accompany a film he made about the life of Jesus. It's a double album, this one. And it has other people on it. It's got the Carter family, June Carter, Chris Christopherson, Rita Coolidge. And it's I mean, I'm not a religious person, but if I was likely to get swayed by the reading of the Bible, Johnny Cash is probably the only person that could do it. When he reads from the Bible, he does it with such authority and a sense of belief and the need to speak these words, which is amazing. And it's a very strange album. It kind of flits between orchestrated passages where he's reading and then moving into some songs. Quite a lot he's already done before. But I don't know if there's any other Johnny Cash albums that have an extended section with Hebrew chanting and bongos playing. And then right towards the end, when we get to the death of Jesus, or the crucifixion of Jesus, it gets totally surreal. The soundtrack is amazing. It's up there with any kind of ambient noise kind of album. I don't know what a noise album is, but it's just really evocative. Crazy, mad as a bag of spiders, but really worth listening to. Johnny Cash reading the Bible. Well, you've sold me. Okay. Penultimate one. John Prine, Sweet Revenge. John Prine, a really favourite of mine. He's got a very cynical eye, social-minded. A lot of these things are pointing out social injustices, and he does it with a dry wit. This has some great songs on here. Christmas in Prison is on here, probably one of his best. And Sweet Revenge, the lead track, is great. It's kind of more some of this is a bit more folky, some of it's a bit more country rocky. It has a bit of everything, really. It finishes with 9 Pound Hammer. Apart from that, they're all written by him. Seek it out. If you haven't listened to John Prine, this one's worth picking up. It's his third album. Okay, last one. Willie Nelson, Shotgun Willie. This is potentially Willie's best album. It's certainly up there with Red-Headed Stranger. It's perhaps more diverse than Red-Headed Stranger, which is more of a kind of a single feel to it. This has kind of stomping rockers with a bit of a funk to them, with almost like Muscle Shoals horns on them, with Shotgun Willie, Whiskey Rivers on here. We've got Devil in a Sleeping Bag, which is great. And then we got some cover versions of older songs, Bubbles in My Beer, Stay All Night, Stay a Little Longer, which are both Bob Wills songs. But this is Willie Nelson at his best. Absolutely top-notch record. I'm sure you in America see this all over the place, so pick it up. What are you doing? Why are you buying all that prog rock? Buy this, please, for me. Fred would want you to as well. Well, that's it. That was my 10, Gimme 10, 1973, the country edition. Go out and listen to all of them, because they are brilliant. Also, just before you go, I will do a rundown, after I finish talking, of what my other 1973 Gimme 10 would be. So thank you for listening. Bye bye. Nice one, Fred, for setting this up. It's been a ball. Bye bye.